going on, everybody? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room, episode 319. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Thank you for joining me in the War Room every Tuesday night at 8:30, or in tonight's case, a little bit later, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and on my YouTube channel. So what's up to the OG War Room family? And if you are new to the War Room, let me know in the comments that you're joining us for the first time, and also where you're watching from so that we can all welcome you properly. This show is coming with a couple disclaimers. First of all, let me introduce you to the Pug Cam and the two psychotic co-hosts that I have every Tuesday night. They can be found on Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug, Wednesday my Black Pug. She is 7 and responsible enough to have social media. Friday, on the other hand, is the newbie member of the family. She just turned 1 recently. And, well, let's just say that not being able to go outside and run around the way they usually do in 101 degree heat today has made the dogs extremely hyper, and they have got cabin fever in a major way right now, and they are so freaking hyper that I almost can't deal with them. So the dogs are wound up. The show's coming with a disclaimer tonight. I'm telling you guys, the show is not going to run late tonight. I have a story to tell you. So first of all, before anything, you need to know 2 things about me. Number 1, my sister and I react very negatively to insect bites. We are those people that mosquitoes attack and that we get all swollen and welts, and it takes mosquito bites like weeks to go away, and they itch like crazy. My husband, for example, can sit next to me at an outdoor party and not get bitten once, and I get attacked by all of the bugs, the mosquitoes, the mayflies, whatever it is that's out there trying to bite people, they're trying to bite me. So that's number 1 thing you need to know about me. The other thing you need to know about me is that I am a complete lightweight, as you guys have witnessed through the pandemic with me drinking here in the War Room, thus the name of the show, Cocktails in the War Room. I don't need to drink a lot. And I have been told by doctors, especially going under anesthesia, or I've been told I have an extremely high threshold for pain and that I have a extremely low tolerance when it comes to medications, drugs, that kind of stuff. So it doesn't take me too many drinks to get drunk. It doesn't take drugs of any type too much to get me whacked out of my mind. I tell you these 2 things because today was 101 degrees and things need. This is what's happening. Yes, that's a cock and balls on the couch. They were just playing tug of war with it a second ago. Yeah, there you go. That's what's happening right now. So today I wanted to get some things done on the to-do list around the house because things need to be done. And I don't know about you guys, but there are certain trees in my yard, especially the ones that hang over my back deck and patio, that seem to just have stuff falling off of them all the time. There's twigs that fall off of them and little flowers that fall off of them and leaves that fall off of them. It seems like every couple of months something is falling off of these trees, and therefore I need to clean the back deck and the back patio all the time. With all the rain that we got, this stuff has fallen and then gotten wet and then dried and then gotten wet again. And so just trying to leaf blow it off the deck wasn't working. So I thought, I'll be smart. It's really hot outside. Today's the day to power wash things in the back. It's got water. It'll be misting. It'll keep me cool. And this is a good thing that I can do under the shade of the trees. With water, I can check something off of the honey-do list around the house today. No problem. I have not been hanging around outside like the fire pit area in the back of the house because it's been raining every freaking weekend. And during the week, obviously, we're busy, right? So there I am. I'm outside. The pugs are inside. It's too freaking hot for them to be outside. I got the little power washer that I inherited from my mom, and I got the hose hooked up, and I'm cleaning off the deck and power washing the picnic table, and I'm cleaning the patio. And what I didn't notice until it was too late is that one of the Adirondack chairs that is around my bonfire, wasps had built a nest underneath the arm of one of the Adirondack chairs. And those wasps did not take kindly to me power washing out there because the power wash jet stream came in contact with the wasp nest. So there I am. I'm out on the back deck. I'm in shorts and a tank top. It's hot as balls outside. I'm sweating like a maniac. And now I notice that the wasp nest has been disturbed. Not David Draymond disturbed. And when I tell you this thing was like twice the size of my fist, not kidding. So now I am fighting a swarm of wasps on the back deck with a power washer gun going, please don't have the water shut off right now, because that's all I had. I had Crocs on, I got shorts on, and these wasps are pissed. So I'm battling these wasps. When it feels like I got hooked up to jumper cables while simultaneously being shot in the chest, and I look down and not one, but two wasps have found a way to attach themselves to my left breast. And simultaneously, as if I got bit by the world's largest rattlesnake, I got simultaneously stung on either side of my left nipple by wasps. When I tell you the pain, I killed them by swatting them barehanded and turning the power washer onto myself, which then I had to turn back around. It was like I was Ghostbusters with my proton pack holding back the swarm of wasps. I was able to get inside to get an ice pack on my boob. And then I had to go outside and like get the power washer like disconnected from the hose, unplugged from the house, drained of water, and like put back away where it belongs. And in order for me to do that, I had to walk around the house because the angry swarm is in one section of the backyard to go to the shed where all of the fuck you wasp sprays are, come back out and battle the wasps with spray so that I could try and get the power washer collected so that I could put that away, made contacts with some other wasps via the spray, was able to eyeball the nest, which has now been destroyed from the bottom of the arm of the Adirondack chair. And once I got everything put away, obviously the wind and whatever, there's bug spray. So I got in the shower. When I tell you that the allergic reaction, now I am not anaphylactic, I'm not EpiPen allergic, okay? I'm not going to die. But when I tell you the allergic reaction of the simultaneous breast bites from said wasps had already begun the swelling process. They're bleeding because the wasps were not playing let's find out, right? They were seriously angry. And so my only option was to take Benadryl, which gets me back to my original statement about my threshold for drug reaction. I have been chugging Red Bull to stay awake long enough to be able to tell you this story because I could not cancel tonight and save the bitten on the breast by angry wasp story for another week here in the War Room. So I have complete psychopath pugs, which thank God they were not outside with me when the wasp incident happened. These guys are psycho hyper, and I am like Tom and Jerry with toothpicks in my eyeballs trying to stay awake because I am such a cheap date that Benadryl makes me high. And scene. Pics or it didn't happen, says Keith. Danielle says, oh my God. Sherry says, poor Carrie. Michelle says, fuck. John says, oh my God, I'm so sorry. They stung you. Keith says, do you need me to kiss it and make it better? Boob stung. Haha, says Jonathan. Julia says, I was stung in the eyebrow last Wednesday. By Saturday, the swelling was so bad, I had to go to the walk-in clinic, a round of prednisone later, and then this week, I stubbed my toe so hard, I broke it. The good news is those assholes with wings are all dead now. Yeah, assholes with wings. That's what we're going to call them because it's ridiculous. Jonathan says, rub it and make it better. Michelle says, MC has a boo-boo on her boobie. Yeah, I do. Bad. I sent my husband a PG-13 picture, and he was like, whoa. Yeah, a boo-boo bee sting on your boobie. Stories containing Benadryl or I can't even read what a diphenhydramine aren't on usually happy ones. No, you're not taking Benadryl for good things. Like, and no offense to Benadryl, thank you for having my back, but yeah, they're not good. Donald wants to know, am I going to be on laser in the morning? Yes, we had technical problems with laser yesterday morning, which is why I wasn't on, but I was on laser this morning, and yes, I will be on laser tomorrow. Eric says, dude, we're in St. Louis for a few days, and the citizens are sweating, are sweaty, and now I have, are sweating and smell like asshole, and now I have come to call them swassholes. Okay? Winged assholes. Exactly. So sorry for your boob, but I am laughing at your theatrical telling of the story, says Stacy. If you could have just imagined me, right? It was like I was in like the library, like with my proton pack fighting Slimer in Ghostbusters. Like, though I could see the wasps. It was like an agility test. Like, I could see them getting closer. It was like playing Missile Command in the 80s. Got me all ready for this. And there I am. And I'm yelling at the wasp. Here's the worst part, okay? And I'm willing to admit this because someday I'm going to bump into my neighbors at the mailbox and one of them is going to ask me about this. So the part that I didn't tell you is that as I am at war with my power washer and the wasps, I can't just be quiet, right? So there I am going, fuck you guys, fuck you. And I'm screaming every obscenity I can think of at these fucking wasps. And I'm like, die motherfuckers, fuck you. And I'm screaming this at the top of my lungs. I can only hope that the power washer was loud enough to drown out the stream of obscenities that like couldn't stop erupting out of my mouth like a volcano. I'm kind of impressed with myself that there were that many different combinations that just, and it wasn't like I was thinking about them. It was like that part of my survival brain kicked in and it just connected to my mouth. It was like somehow my brain thought wasps are afraid of curse words. And so they just all started coming out. Voorhees says, haha, Missile Command. Yeah, exactly. You remember that. Missile Command, of course, that's great. That's all I could think of. It was just like, they're like, pew, 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 like, they were just everywhere. And I was just like, please, if the water had stopped for some reason, oh, it would have been so bad. So bad. But the water held up. I got to thank everybody at the water department. You guys saved my life today. Yeah, Stacy says it's hotter than two rats fucking in a wool sock. Exactly. Don't cross the stream, says Bish. Annie Ann says, same problem with Benadryl, but not the alcohol. Thank goodness, she says. Yeah, the Benadryl just wipes me out, man. Like, I don't need to do drugs. I can just take some I'm like, That's why I'm drinking seltzer right now, because if I had a drink right now, I'd be like, la, 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 la. Or I'd be screaming a chain of obscenities like I was at the Wasps earlier. It's just brutal. Christine says, hi, Carrie. Everybody talking about the weather. Steven says 100 in Virginia. Yeah, we're all like tucked in someone's armpit right now. Like this kind of weather with the humidity that we're experiencing is like we've been balled up in a cotton ball and like tucked in someone's mouth. Just tucked in there. Just sitting here for a while and see how comfortable you get. It's like, ugh. So that's why I thought it would be a good idea if I went outside and did something with the power washer, because I thought that would be a good idea. The mist would keep me cool. And now I have a swollen boob. Jonathan says, so people can feel your stinger. No, the stingers came out. I do want to tell you this, though, just in case you're wondering, a wasp can sting you through a shirt and a bra. Just so you know. It got through both of them. And I'm fairly certain it was a wasp nest and not a hornet's nest, although I'm not an expert. They were flying assholes. The thing was gray. It looked like paper mache, and it was built on the underside of one of the arms of the Adirondack chairs around my bonfire pit. Walter, grab the raid. Oh, Bish, you have no idea. It was because I knew I wasn't going to be able to pack up the power washer if I didn't get some kind of insect spray. And I don't like using that stuff, right? Like I don't like to spray. I try to be as environmentally friendly as possible, especially around the yard. I have a garden. I have fruit trees and berry bushes and shit, and I like to eat that stuff. So I try really hard not to have to spray liquid death, but I sprayed liquid death and rained hellfire down on those fuckers today. It was awful. Awful today. So if you guys see me holding my boob, it's swollen and it's sore. So there you go. I don't know where the dogs went. They took off. So for that reason, I did not get to the post office. So that's going to come up in mail call later today. So there you go. All right, I got a couple things I want to talk to you guys about because obviously the pugs aren't here, so I can't turn the pug cam on. Friday, what are you doing? Are you being a jerk? What are you doing? All right, for anybody that's new to the War Room, I want to make sure that you guys know where you can hear me on the radio. This week is my 1-year anniversary on Charleston's Best Rock, 98 Rock in Charleston, South Carolina. You can hear me every weekday from 10 to 3. You can download the 98 Rock app at my98rock.com, and you can listen through the app anywhere, stream the station from anywhere, but I'm on 10 to 3 every weekday Eastern time. So what are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? You just want to chill with me? Okay, but I need a hand. Which hand can I have? Can I have this hand so that I can hit the buttons? You can also hear me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7 on 100 FM The Pike. You can listen at pikefm.com. You can download the Pike app. We got a bunch of our big signature shows happening this summer. Hair Fest, Grunge Fest. Also, Rock Fest is happening at the end of the summer. And last week I had Shinedown tickets to give away. This week I have All Time Low tickets to give away. So you got to be listening every weekday afternoon because I've got a ton of tickets to give away this summer. You can hear me every weekday from 3 to 7 on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. You can download the Bone app or go to 1063thebone.com and listen that way. And where... Oh, here we go. And then the last place that you can hear me every weekday morning from 6 to 10 a.m. is on Laser 99.3 and 98.5 in Springfield. You can hear the 90s at 9 every weekday. That's 3 songs from the 90s back to back to back every weekday at 9 a.m. Now, what's up, Trina? Let me get caught up on the comments here. Let's see. Are you guys talking about insect sprays? Sorry, I'm like, I'm high on Benadryl. Blah, 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 All right. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about, we used to do this a lot around the holidays, but there's something really cool going on with Laser right now. And so it's kind of a Mistress Carrie deal that I wanted to tell you guys about. If you are more on the Western Massachusetts side of the listening audience, if you're listening to Laser every morning, they've got what they're calling the Western Mass Wine Passport. So if you go to laser993.com, you can get the Laser Wine Passport. It gives you $150 in values to 3 local vineyards for only $75. So you can go and get wine, you can hang out at the vineyards and drink, but if you buy it for $75, you get $150 in coupons to 3 big Western Mass wineries. So if you are a wine drinker, or maybe there's somebody that you want to buy a gift for that lives out in Western Mass, the Western Mass Wine Passport is up right now at laser993.com, and it's $150 worth of wine. Here, do you want your bone? There you go. It's $150 worth of wine coupons for $75, which I thought was a great deal. So I wanted to pass that on to you guys. Want to remind you guys about the upcoming 3rd annual USMC Scout Sniper Association Skydive Boogie that's happening July 12th at Jumptown Skydiving. If you go to the concert and event calendar at mistresscarrie.com and go to July 12th, there's a link to register for a discounted veterans jump. And this is open to the whole family. You can bring the family out. You can let the kids watch the skydivers and the planes taking off. And then the after party is going to be at the Red Apple Farm in Phillipston later on that afternoon. So that's coming up on July 12th. And then you can hang out with me at the annual Johnny Appleseed Festival in downtown Leominster. That is happening on September 20th. I'm going to have a big Mistress Carrie set up there. So cocktail of the week. I didn't even look one up because I'm already wasted on Benadryl right now. So we will bring that back next week because I just can't focus right now. My eyes, I'm having a hard time like reading the screen. All right, recapping last week's podcast episode, Pat Badger from Extreme and the Dark Desert Eagles. So he plays bass in Extreme, but he plays rhythm guitar and sings in the Dark Desert Eagles, which is an Eagles kind of tribute band. And they've got some shows coming up, including Aura in Portland. They're going to be at the Cape Cod Melody Tent, and they're also going to be at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom this summer coming up in July. And so we talked all about that. We talked about what's going on with Extreme. We talked about Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys and Sly Stone because they had both passed away that same week that I sat down with Pat. We talked obviously about AC/DC because I bumped into him in line to get beers at the AC/DC show at Gillette. So this was last week's podcast episode. Episode 263 is available everywhere. Voorhees says, AC failed in my workplace 2 days ago. It has been warm. Eric says, Carrie, on the way out of the airport, I accidentally bumped into Dave Navarro, still a major fuckface, because I said, sorry, sir, and was told to go fuck myself. Johnny Gomes ran over his foot with his luggage, says Eric. Look, I am not one to badmouth musicians. I've learned in my career that it is possible for any of us to have a bad day. I am sure that there have been people that have met me over the years that have gotten me at a bad minute, that have gotten me on a bad day. Either I didn't feel good or I was having a shit day for whatever reason. And, you know, I try not to take things out on people like that. But there are some days, especially if I'm working on location and we're having like technical issues, and then in the middle of like trying to get us back on the air, or somebody comes over and tries to talk to me and I might be short. So I understand that that's possible for musicians as well. Dave Navarro is just one of those guys that just seems to have a lot of people want to punch him in the face. Perry Farrell. So I don't get it. I don't understand running over somebody with your luggage, like their foot. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've walked down the narrow airplane aisle and the people that board first that are like in the front, if you're leaning into the aisle because you're sitting on the aisle, you're going to get like shoulder checked by somebody's bag or something. And I always try to apologize, but I just can't even count the number of times people have told me they've had a negative interaction with Dave Navarro, which I just don't understand, like why people need to be that way. So it does not surprise me. Bish said, hey, did you get the picture that I sent you from the race? Yes, Bish. So I saw the tweet that you sent out, and I also got the picture that you sent out finishing the 10K. Congratulations. Keith says cocktails of the week is Benadryl. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let me see. Keith says, I got $100 on Johnny. Yeah, I don't think Dave Navarro is the big tough guy. And he talks a lot of crap. Like, if you're going to be that kind of a jerk to people, eventually you're going to come across somebody that's a bigger asshole. Like, there's always that chance. So, I don't know. But anyway, so that was last week's podcast episode 263, Pat Badger from Extreme and the Dark Desert Eagles. Episode 264 comes out at midnight tonight. And I just talked to these guys yesterday. I sat down with Maria and Chris from In This Moment. And just this morning, I asked them yesterday, hey guys, do you have any more announcements about more touring plans, blah, 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 whatever. And they're like, nothing we could talk about right now. And then today they announced like a whole other leg of their tour. It didn't affect the Northeast and it doesn't affect Charleston because they're not playing there. But In This Moment is headlining the Hell Hath No Fury tour at the Palladium in Worcester coming up on August 14th. I've talked to Maria before on my old show at AAF, but this was In This Moment's first appearance on the podcast. And what you may or may not know is that Maria, when she was in her mid-20s, went to LA like Axl in the Welcome to the Jungle video to like make it as a rock star and to find fellow musicians. And she found Chris, her longtime guitar player, and they are the founders of In This Moment. And so that's why they were both on the show. So we talked about the new music. We talked about the Hell Hath No Fury tour. We talked about her undying love of the Deftones and Nine Inch Nails. We talked about the big final Black Sabbath and Ozzy show that's coming up on July 5th. So all of that and more. Sorry, Friday just threw a bone on my foot. Episode 264 of the Mistress Carrie podcast with Maria and Chris from In This Moment comes out at midnight tonight. Let's see. Eric says he's got so much talent, but acts like a total Nancy. That's the thing. I don't understand. Like, if you're a supermodel and you were gifted this amazing genetic perfection, right? If you are absolutely gorgeous or I don't understand why anybody's a dick. Okay, I'll just put it that way. But if you're a gifted musician or you've got some unbelievable talent, I just don't understand why you have to go out of your way to be dicks to people, especially people that want to celebrate you for the things that you have. That yes, while I'm sure practice and hard work gave you some of those things, you also kind of got knighted by some of those things as well. And so I just don't understand like why people are like asses. So, Jessica says, I love Maria. Yeah, she's super cool, super nice. I think you guys are going to love this episode. So it comes out at midnight tonight. If you want to listen to the podcast, it's really easy. There's a ton of places to do it. The audio, the full-length episodes are all up on YouTube. Plus, you can listen through the Pantheon Podcast Network. You can find the episodes you want to listen to at mistresscarrie.com. And then basically every big podcast app you can listen as well. We're holding strong at 149 countries listening to the podcast. Friday, why do you keep throwing bones at me on the floor? 149 countries listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast. So first of all, we have got to say happy birthday to Michelle, who is celebrating her birthday today. OG War Room Michelle, happy birthday. Also, Jeff Beck was born today, as was Mick Fleetwood, and guest of the show, Colin Blunstone from The Zombies, who I actually just dug that interview audio up after Brian Wilson died, because he told the story about how when the Beach Boys recorded Pet Sounds in Los Angeles on an 8-track, that the Beatles heard that they had done that and demanded Abbey Road get an 8-track, and they were able to build a 7-track. And so that's how the Beatles recorded Sgt. Pepper. And then the Zombies went in after the Beatles recorded Sgt. Pepper into Abbey Road and recorded their album, which is why their album sounds the way that it does. So I was just playing all that audio around the death of Brian Wilson. Cullen Blunstone is 80 today. So happy birthday, Mr. Blunstone. Let me see. Eric says, not sure that bone was Friday and not Keith. Let me see here. Steven says, the only thing I don't like about Maria is too many costume changes during the show. Otherwise, I love the group. Yeah, I think it's one of those things. Oh, there goes the bone again. I think it's one of those things that they are a band that tries to incorporate more of a theatrical approach. There's a band like AC/DC, right, where Angus's idea of a costume change is like taking off his cap and his vest or his like little schoolboy jacket. And there are other people like Rob Halford. He changes his big giant jacket after every song when Judas Priest plays. But I think the costumes and all of that is all part of her visual of the music. And so that's part of their artistic expression, is being able to fit the costumes in with it. But yeah, I get it. But the costumes are cool. Carol says, are you cold? No, I'm not cold. Why do I need to be cold? No, I'm not cold. Keith says, sorry, I was doing the helicopter. Michael says, she said bone again. Ghost has a ton of costume changes too, says Eric. Yeah, that's the thing. Alice Cooper does a lot of that stuff. Rob Zombie does a lot of that stuff where they do different things in the interludes in between the songs. And there's always tons of visuals and people with costumes. You guys need to see what's going on over here on the couch. Friday, do you have the hiccups? Do you have the hiccups? Huh? Are you high on Benadryl too? Did you get into Mummy's Benadryl? Did Wednesday take your bone? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh. You want me to keep petting you? Is that what you want me to do? Okay, well, let me hit the button, okay? Can I hit the button? Yes, thank you. Oh, you're going to snuggle later. I might take a nap on the couch if you snuggle with me. Yeah. I might take a nap on the couch if you snuggle with me. Do you want to snort for everybody? Huh? Yeah. Okay. Yes. You can lay on my lap. All right. Okay. So we got to talk about some stuff that's going on in music. So they have opened a pop-up shop in Birmingham, England, to get ready for the final Black Sabbath and Ozzy show. Back to the Beginning is July 5th. And they've opened like this massive Black Sabbath pop-up shop there. They also released their first rehearsal picture of Bill Ward, Geezer Butler, and Ozzy on a couch at the rehearsals. And we still don't know what band has been kicked off the lineup, which is really interesting. The live stream tickets are backtothebeginning.com if you want to get live stream tickets to be able to watch this whole thing. They're saying it's going to be 10 hours. It's probably going to be longer than that. Jason Momoa is hosting it. Tom Morello is the musical director. And the lineup is just insane. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about, because it's going to affect a lot of things moving forward. This is not a political discussion. When Live Nation is talking about moving a multi-million-dollar music festival permanently because of weather, there is a massive industry conversation happening right now about the unpredictability of weather and, moreover, severe weather when it comes to multi-day outdoor festival shows, because it's near impossible to have, say, a 4-day music festival and have one day not get ruined by weather. What the organizers of Bonnaroo have realized over the last few years specifically is that it's gone from just having like one day of rain to having severe downpours, thunder and lightning, high winds, dangerous conditions. And so this year's Bonnaroo, they had to refund everybody's money because they had to cut the festival short because of severe weather. There was just no way to postpone the show long enough to pull it off. Bonnaroo yesterday sent an email out to everyone that bought tickets this year, asking everyone if they would still attend Bonnaroo if the show happened in the fall, because the way that the weather patterns are changing, that inclement weather, specifically earlier in the spring and early summer, has become so drastic. The storms have become so strong that it's not sustainable. And they're actually thinking about canceling Bonnaroo if they can't find a way to move the show later in the year, because the weather has just made it impossible for the festival to continue. And they're saying that, Boston set a heat record today of 101 degrees. It's not even July. And we went from having 14 rainy Saturdays in a row to going into a 95 plus degree multi-day heat wave. I was on the air this morning in Charleston, and it was hotter at my house than it was in Charleston, South Carolina. Insane. So the conversation is happening industry-wide about what climate change is doing to outdoor music festivals long-term, and whether or not the festival model as it is right now is sustainable, because they've had to issue so many cancellations and refunds. So I wanted to bring that up to you guys because I thought it was really interesting. Let's see. Rockville is so crazy with the storm, says Christine. Yeah, this isn't just a Bonnaroo thing. This is all festivals. They've dealt with it at Coachella. They've dealt with it at Rockville, at the Incarceration, and the same Danny Wimmer, Live Nation, like the same people put these festivals on all around the country. And we're going to lose these festivals if they don't make money, and definitely lose these festivals if a bunch of people get hurt because of high winds or stage collapse due to like mud because of rain. Or, there's just a lot going on with how the weather is affecting the concert industry during like the outdoor concert season for most of the United States. So, I just wanted to bring that up to you guys because I thought it was really interesting that the music industry is now employing like the biggest weather experts in the world right now, trying to figure out what the best course of action is to move forward. Okay, let's get through some of the shows that are coming, because I'm starting to get tired. I'm getting my ass kicked by Benadryl. Shinedown Bush and Morgan Wade are coming up fast, July 19th at the TD Garden, followed by Linkin Park, Ghost, Stevie Nicks, Nine Inch Nails. The reports on the Nine Inch Nails show, by the way, the Peel It Back tour, people are just saying that the show's insane, that the visuals are amazing. Same thing with the Ghost tour. There's just some really good tours out right now. Eric Clapton in September, Bryan Adams in October. DCU Center has got the Silver Scream Con happening in the Convention Center, September 12th through the 14th. And then Ice Nine Kills headlining the Arena on September 13th with Dayseeker and The Funeral Portrait and Mast. And then, of course, Sleep Token, who just got their first #1 single with Emergence a couple weeks ago, sold out the DCU Center on September 23rd. Big Night Live has got Everclear, Local H, and Sponge on October 21st. And I have tickets to this show to give away this week as well, From Ashes to New. That is at Big Night Live. So lots going on in Boston with these shows. Hold on, Friday. Here you go. Lost your toy. Coming up, Styx is going to be at the Xfinity Center July 19th, the same night as Shinedown. Rod Stewart and Cheap Trick, Offspring, Jimmy Eat World and Newfound Glory, Volbeat, Hailstorm and the Ghost Inside, the Doobie Brothers, Billy Idol and Joan Jett. Billy Idol just announced today he is going to issue his 3 biggest releases on vinyl, and they're going to come in Atmos, which is pretty cool. So that's a new release coming from Billy Idol. Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace on September 11th at the Xfinity Center. Falling in Reverse on September 13th. A new Papa Roach song featuring the singer from Turnstile. I believe the song is called Deadbeat, and it's coming out at midnight tonight. So we're getting, and from what Jacoby Shaddix has been saying in interviews, this song is a ripper. So we're getting new Papa Roach tonight at midnight. That's coming out. So you'll probably hear me playing it tomorrow on most, if not all, of the stations that I'm on. Baby Metal is at Mohegan coming up later this week. Let's see, Incubus at Mohegan at the end of the month. Weird Al. Sad news for Weird Al. The guy that inspired him, Dr. Demento, just announced he's retiring after like 55 years. Dr. Demento saying it's time to hang up his top hat. So Weird Al's going to be at the Wang and at Foxwoods. Coldplay at Gillette. Def Leppard at Mohegan, David Lee Roth at Hampton Beach in August, Sully Erna from Godsmack at the Mohegan Sun Patio in September, George Thorogood at the Lynn Auditorium, Bryan Adams at Mohegan. This just got announced. The Lemonheads are back together. They're releasing their first new album in 19 years. I think it's coming out in October, and they're going on tour. They're going to be at the Wilbur on November 26th, and those tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Leader Bank Pavilion, Toto, Christopher Cross, and Men at Work, the Goo Goo Dolls, and Chicago this summer. Let's see. Did the Foo Fighters announce their new drummer? Nope, not yet. Keith says it's a bigger safety issue. Exactly. Let's see. Oh, happy unbirthday, Keith. Did I skip your birthday, Keith? I'm sorry. Your unbirthday, I should say. It's Michelle's real birthday. It's your unbirthday. Fenway Concert Series, My Chemical Romance, Lumineers, and The Who with the Joe Perry Project. It seems that Roger Daltrey firing Zach Starkey, Ringo Starr's son, who's been playing drums for The Who for 30 years, that was not a popular decision. Pete Townsend said in an interview recently, "I'll probably get sacked next," he said. Hey, what are you guys doing right now? Oh, hold on. You got to see what's going on over here. These dogs have been psychos all day long. All day. There's just not enough energy. All right, at the Palladium in this moment, who are my guests on the podcast this week, August 14th, Mushroomhead in October. Guar just announced they're going to be at the Palladium November 19th. Atreyu is going to be there November 23rd. Tickets to see Poppy September 2nd when she kicks off her North American tour. They went on sale last Friday. And the New England Metal and Hardcore Festival is coming back for one day, one big all day and all night show at the Palladium outdoors. Roadrunner has got Dinosaur Jr. coming up July 18th and Garbage on September 18th. Hey, guys, you know I'm trying to do the show, right? Okay, I'm just making sure. The MGM Music Hall at Fenway's got the Pixies coming up. Also the Black Keys, Chevelle, Alabama Shakes, Seether and Daughtry with POD, and Mudvayne and Static X this year. The House of Blues has got Less Than Jake, Architects, Bruce Dickinson, Avatar, Nothing More already scheduled for next February. Hey, guys. And the Paradise has got Anne Boleyn coming up August 10th. Voorhees says, don't take up too much more time. You'll wake up tomorrow morning on the floor. I fell asleep in the bathroom trying to brush my teeth once. Didn't even make it to bed. Yes, Mr. Voorhees, no more Dr. Demento. He's retiring. I know I said Wang, you freaking perverts. Yes, I know. I know. Hey, don't eat the pockets of my shorts, you weirdo. The stage at Suffolk Downs has got the big session, 2-day Irish music and Music and Culture Festival that the Dropkick Murphys and the Pogues are co-headlining. Slightly Stoopid, Turnstile, and Iggy Pop are also playing at Suffolk Downs this year. A list of new releases, everybody from 311 releasing Live from the Vault, Volume 2, their new EP. AWOL Nation releasing the 10th. Hey! Releasing the 10th anniversary edition of Run. Bruce Springsteen's Tracks 2, The Lost Albums, comes out on Friday. Stockholm Syndrome from Fishbone. Motorhead releasing the Manticore tapes, which is that lost album that they did not release while Lemmy was alive. That's coming out on Friday. Rod Stewart releasing Ultimate Hits. The White Stripes releasing Get Behind Me, Satan, the 20th anniversary vinyl reissue. Hey! Come on. What's this? Go down there and get it. Go on. Brats. Mail call. No mail call because I didn't have a chance to go to the post office. I was too busy dealing with my boob wounds that I told you the story about earlier. If you're late to the show tonight and you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about, watch the first 15 minutes of the show. New helmet and property of Mistress Carrie bumper stickers are getting a final approval right now on the design. We're working on fonts right now, and then I should have them. I'm hoping by maybe the end of July they should be here, which I'm pretty excited about. Got to say what's up to everybody with a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass. Don't forget, you guys still have access to Ghost tickets, Summer of Loud tickets, and Pantera tickets. So if you get a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass on Patreon, you can take part in the monthly free live streams that are exclusive to the Backstage Pass holders. You find out who's going to be on the podcast, so you can submit podcast questions. You get travel blog updates, so I'll be taking you guys to Italy with me because I told you guys last week that I was taking a trip to Rome later this year. Early access to event information and merch discount codes. So if you don't have a Backstage Pass, go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie or just click the Patreon button at mistresscarrie.com. All the places you can find me on social and all of the radio stations and radio station apps that you can listen to the different radio shows. And a reminder about the Veterans Rock group that's on Facebook. We're up to 3,300 members now. It is an open group on Facebook. Everybody is welcome as long as it is for the purpose of supporting veterans initiatives, veterans nonprofits, veteran-owned businesses, a place to get information, to share info about resources, to network, to build community, and to volunteer and to give back for the civilians that want to get involved. So join the Veterans Rock group, and don't forget about the skydiving boogie, the USMC, the Scout Sniper Association 3rd annual skydiving boogie that is happening July 12th at Jumptown Skydiving, and that's it. Whew. Let me take another sip. Okay, guys. Bish says, my parents celebrated 48 years of marriage today. Happy anniversary to them. Michael Cole says, we celebrated 45 years over the weekend. That is amazing. What's up, Heidi, who is late AF? Let's see. Heidi says, just got off work. Carol says, feel better. All right, guys, so I'm cutting the show. I am going to barely have enough energy to pack up the show and get everything back, put away in the war room closet, and then to go lay down with the pugs because it has been a day. I will keep you guys abreast of the situation. See what I did there? Don't get bitten on the boob by wasps. It really hurts and it sucks. Just so you know. A public service announcement. Good night, guys.